Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and today we're going to be talking about the cryptocurrency markets because if you've been watching the cryptocurrency market since yesterday and today, you will know that the markets have been doing pretty well over the last couple of days. If you're watching the market yesterday, you will have seen EOS jump 42% in the span of 24 hours. Currently, it's only up about 15% in the last 24 hours, but that's still a pretty sizable spike in and of itself. You can see here on the 7-day chart that it's had a very nice run, and following that, a lot of the altcoins and Bitcoin even have continued to rise quite a bit. Bitcoin jumped over $1,000 in the span of about an hour and a half. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and EOS. I'm also going to be talking about the cryptocurrency markets as a whole, and I'm going to be bringing you some news regarding Islam and cryptocurrencies. We'll be getting into that at the end of the video. But if you enjoyed today's video, you should definitely think about leaving a like and subscribing because I make a lot of cryptocurrency videos. So guys, let's get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading right around $7,600. It is up just a little over $1,000 since this time yesterday. It was trading below $7,000 for about a week and a half. A lot of people were getting very tired of that because we were below a very important uptrend, which we'll talk about in a second. The market capitalization is right around $130 billion. It's nice to see it that high again. It's kind of weird saying $130 billion market cap for Bitcoin is high, considering we've seen that up around $300 billion. But the Bitcoin dominance, actually we'll get to the Bitcoin dominance in a second. Let's look here at market capitalization. The cryptocurrency market capitalization is back above $300 billion, excuse me, which this is nice because a little while ago we had a double bottom on the cryptocurrency markets. I'm going to talk about this really quickly because I've mentioned this in the last couple of videos. Actually, let's go to year to date. We had a double bottom here on the market capitalization of cryptocurrency here at $280 billion. Let's see if I can get my mouse on there. It's right around $275 billion, 276, and then we had the other bottom right here, right around 200. Excuse me, right around $280 billion. We were hoping to stay above $275, $280 billion. Unfortunately, we dropped down into the $240, $250 billion range. Now we're back above $300 billion, so that's a very good thing to see. We're seeing a lot of value continue to come back into the cryptocurrency market. The Bitcoin dominance has dropped just a little bit. If we look here on the chart, it was continuing to rise for a little bit as a lot of the money was moving from the altcoin, or a lot of the value rather, was moving from the altcoins back into Bitcoin as we were kind of retracing and the market was contracting, because a lot of people, they get kind of scared in bear markets and they like to put their money in what is considered a safer asset, and Bitcoin is by far considered the safest asset in cryptocurrency. So a lot of people were putting their money back into Bitcoin. That's more than likely a big part of the reason that the value, that the dominance for Bitcoin was rising. It started to drop a little bit in the last couple of weeks. If we zoom in here to the 3-month, then we'll see that it went all the way up to about 45.6% right here. Let's see if the chart will want to load. I don't think it's going to. Here we go. Right up here around 45.6%, 46%, somewhere around there. Started to drop a little bit as some of the value has started to move back into the altcoins. You can see this graph right here, which stands for other, has continued to rise quite a bit. I believe that's other. Yes, that is other. So a lot of value has been going back into some of the lower cap altcoins. Ethereum's kind of continued to drop off. It's jumped a little bit in the last couple of days. Let's go back out here to the chart. Let's go back out here to this chart, rather. And let's see if it'll load. And let's look at some of the big gains. Bitcoin is up 11% today. Ripple is up, or XRP rather, is up 15%. EOS is still up 15%, even though it was up about 42 to 43% the other day. Cardano's up 20%. Litecoin's up 8%. Ethereum's up 10%. I just talked about Ethereum probably having just bottomed out. We're going to be looking at that in the technical analysis portion of the video. IOTA's up 20%. Monero's up 11%. Dash 12%. Basically, if you're holding anything in cryptocurrency right now, you're up pretty well. I mean, you've seen pretty good gains. If you bought just about anything yesterday, you're doing pretty well today. Omise Go is up 22%. It just had some news of a partnership over in Korea, so Omise Go is probably going to be doing pretty well. Steam is up 34%. Bitcoin Private is up 86%. Very interesting gains here, guys. A lot of big gains. Let's see. Substratum's up 31%. Mithril is up 153%. I think that's basically the top 100. You guys can come on CoinMarketCap and look around if you want to do that a little bit more. Let's move on here to the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin, as we can see, has had a very nice little green candlestick right here. That's a very nice little green candlestick. We haven't seen many of those in the last month and a half or so. Before I start talking about Bitcoin here, I want to establish a trend line that I talk about on the Bitcoin chart a lot. This will go by pretty quickly. We have the beginning of a trend line. This is a very important trend line. We have the pivot point down here at $1,800 back here in, what was that, July of 2017. We have the establishment point of the trend line here at 3,000 back here in September when we pulled back to 3,000 from 5,000. And then that this trend line got solidified when we pulled back to 6,000 on February the 6th on the Bitcoin market. If we come in here to the hour chart, though, The reason I established that trend line so we know what we're talking about here is because that is this trend line right here, this nice long trend line. As you can see, we were below it for a little while, and we've always historically gotten support on it. It's a very important trend line, so we want to stay above it. It carries support for us all the way out to about $12,500 by the end of 2018. It's an important level of support that we want to maintain, and we were below it for quite a while here, even getting resistance at it here. But this nice little jump that we saw here in just a couple of hours actually got us above it, and pretty far above it too. We want to make sure we stay above this trend line. That's a really important trend line for us to stay above. Also, a couple of other things to mention is that we had two downtrends that were kind of giving us resistance. We had this one right here, so we can see there's a pivot point right here and an establishment point right here. We got resistance here, and then we got support down here. We broke that. That's a really good trend line to break. If we come out here to the 4 hour, I'll also show you the long-term downtrend that we were under for a long time. I think we're finally getting away from it, which is good. That would be this one right here with the establishment point here, or the pivot point here and the establishment point here. A bounce here at 11.7, and then we traded around it for a little while. We wanted to get away from that, and we did. Thankfully, we were away from that. That's a very annoying trend line. We have a lot of resistance to go, guys. This $9,000 level is going to be really important. My chart is messing with me. I don't know what just happened there. This $9,000 level is going to be a very important level of resistance. As you can see, we have quite a bit of touches on this level right here. It's a big even. 9,000 is a pretty big even. We have a little bit of a double top. You could call that a double top right here. We have some kind of support down here at about 9,300. You could kind of call that in the $9,000 area. And we have some more touches on 9,000 right over here. If we zoom out, I think we have some right here. Yes, we do. And some right back there. Another thing to keep in mind about this $9,000 level is that on the Fibonacci retracement, that indicates $9,000 is right around 50% retracement from this level up here down to where we bottomed out right around $6,500. $9,000 is going to be a big level of resistance in the coming days and weeks as we continue to try and begin this bull market. I think the bottom is probably behind us, and if it's not behind us, I think we're very close to it on Bitcoin anyway. We did have that death cross a couple of days ago that everybody was freaking out about. I really didn't expect it to do a whole lot, and lo and behold, it really didn't do a whole lot. I think we've managed to get support at this long-term uptrend, and that's really what we want to see. We want to stay above that and continue start building support as we move into, hopefully, a bull market in the Q2 of 2018. All right, let's move on to the Ethereum chart. Ethereum is doing some pretty interesting things. I talked about this the day before yesterday in my last video. I talked about how I think Ethereum may have bottomed out, and this level right here, right around 390, 370, somewhere in that range, that's a very important level for Ethereum, and I'll zoom out and show you that in just a second. But we've kind of traded around that, and it looks like we're getting away from that. And we are getting resistance right now at this trend line, and this is a really important trend line, not just for Ethereum, but for all of cryptocurrency, because Ethereum is such a big cryptocurrency. What Ethereum does, similar to how Bitcoin does, it can move the market as a whole in a pretty substantial way. So this is an important thing to look at. This is a downtrend, kind of similar. This is this rhymes with the. This is like symmetrical. It rhymes with the downtrend that we saw on Bitcoin. So it's essentially at Ethereum's all-time high, we had the establishment point up here at 1400. We had the touch here to establish the downtrend, and we had a little bit of a bounce off of it here at 900. And as you can see, we're touching this downtrend right now. We want to get above this downtrend. This is another really important downtrend for Ethereum and the entire cryptocurrency market, as I just said a little while ago. But it looks like we've probably hit the bottom for Ethereum. We've kind of just slowed down and tapered off, and now we're kind of slowly turning around. This level, about $370 to $400, is a very important level. Because we had some touches right here around 390, and back here during the kind of little long-term equilibrium pattern that we saw in the second half of 2018, we had two touches up here to form a double top right around $400. So $400 is a very important level of support for Ethereum. Luckily, we're back above that. Let's look at EOS over Bitcoin, because EOS did have a very good run a couple of days ago. Well, not a couple of days ago, actually yesterday. If we zoom in here to the hour chart, then we can see that EOS has been doing pretty well, really. Considering EOS isn't even out of ICO yet, and considering that it's still an ERC20 token, its protocol isn't launched, so what it's planning on doing with smart contracts and everything isn't even live yet. EOS being a number 5 cryptocurrency, that says one of two things to me. It says either the price is massively overinflated, or that it's a really good project that's going to hold water and maybe start to compete with Ethereum, and I'm inclined to believe the second one. I'm really a fan of EOS, and I think it's going to do good things. I am personally invested in EOS, and I do think it's a good project. So they're not paying me to say that. I just think it's a good project. But EOS has been doing pretty well. It kind of fell off the chart. It kind of fell off a cliff the same way the rest of the cryptocurrency market did. But ever since about back here at the midway through March, it's been continuing to rise, and as we can see, this little jump here is what I was talking about, where EOS just shot through the moon the other day. This was really one of the only coins that was doing, or tokens rather, one of the only cryptocurrencies that was doing really well at the beginning of yesterday, and then the rest of the market kind of followed EOS. It's very interesting to see EOS doing this. It's nice to see EOS doing this. I probably wouldn't buy into this right now. It's probably going to retrace a little bit, probably down here to around this 100,000 Satoshi level. We'll see what happens there. But EOS is a very good project. I'm a big fan of EOS. I have a lot of videos on the channel talking about EOS if you're interested in that. Let's look at Litecoin here for just a second. We're going to move on to the news. Something interesting in Litecoin is that Litecoin does also have another parallel downtrend. That's the word I was looking for earlier, is parallel. Litecoin rather, also has a parallel downtrend to Ethereum and Bitcoin that is trying to get above. And actually, it had two, but this is the second one. So as we can see here, this line right here is an important downtrend. It has a touch up here, the pivot point, and then several establishment points down here. And right now, we're getting above it. As you can see, we jumped up through it, got support on it, and we're continuing to rise. So I'm very bullish on Litecoin in the short term, and I'm also very bullish on Litecoin in the long term. I also have videos on my channel about Litecoin in the long term. I have a price prediction video on also. I think that was the first video that did really well on the channel. If you guys have been around since then, thanks for sticking around. I'm a big fan of Litecoin. I'm also personally invested in Litecoin. I'm a very big fan of the project. Charlie Lee's great. I think it's a good project, and I think that this little break that we're seeing here is very good. The RSI on a lot of these projects is also something to look at. A lot of the RSI on a lot of these cryptocurrencies is also still pretty low, so there's a lot of room to grow. I think we are pretty close to the bottom of this market, guys. I'm definitely expecting a bull market to form in the quarter 2 of 2018. If not, it might take until like the late quarter 2 or early quarter 3. But I don't think we're going to see a years-long bear market like we did in 2014 and the beginning of 2015. I just don't see that happening, guys. I really don't think that's going to happen. I think cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin especially are getting so close to adoption that we're kind of hitting the tipping point. We're getting governments talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We're getting a lot of really big institutions investing in, talking about, and partnering with cryptocurrency companies. So I definitely think that we're going to see a bull run continuing. I don't think we're in a bubble, guys. I think if we were in a bubble, then it's already popped and we're ready to continue going. All we need to do is continue getting adoption, continue getting more users in cryptocurrencies, and we're going to go to the moon, guys. All right, let's talk about this news article real quick, and then we're going to wrap the video up. This article is by Cointelegraph. It will be linked in the description down below because I'm going to kind of jog through some of the things that it says. Fintech startup report concludes Bitcoin is generally permissible under Sharia law. Now, we're not going to be getting into Sharia law, guys. This is a cryptocurrency channel, not a political channel. So you guys can flame each other in the comments down below, but I'm going to dodge that. Blossom Finance, a fintech startup based in Indonesia, has released a report by their international Sharia advisor that concludes that Bitcoin BTC is generally permissible under Sharia law, according to press release published Thursday, April the 12th. Blossom report dated April 5th is titled, Is Bitcoin Halal or Haram? A Sharia Analysis, was written by Muhammad Abu Bakr, a certified mufti? Muslim legal expert. I'm not familiar with that term. I'm sorry if I butchered that. As well as Haziz, having successfully memorized the Quran in 2002. Good for him. That's a long book. That's a very long book. Anyway, guys, the reason that this is interesting, a lot of people are saying that this may have caused this little spike in price. I generally don't believe that one news article can cause Bitcoin to move $1,000 that quickly. It can cause markets to move that far, but not necessarily that fast. I don't think this had a lot to do with that, but it probably had something to do with it at least. Guys, whenever someone tells you, and if I tell you this, it means I'm misspeaking. Whenever someone tells you that they know exactly why a market did something, they're either lying to you, they're misspeaking, or they're ignorant of the fact, because no one knows what markets do. At the end of the day, you can try and do technical analysis on them, and a lot of times that technical analysis will be very accurate, but also at the end of the day, especially in cryptocurrency, it's mainly just humans trading cryptocurrencies. The bots haven't taken over like they have in a lot of the stock markets, so it comes down to just random chance in a lot of things. But I think the market was overdue for a little jump like we just saw, and this news article certainly didn't help. There are something like 2 billion Muslim believers in the world. Probably a significant probably a decent percentage of those are very influenced by what Muslim imams and religious leaders say about cryptocurrency. So this is a good thing for the market as a whole. It's nice to see that many new people able to invest in cryptocurrencies where otherwise they might not want to because their religious leaders say that they couldn't. And actually, I did misspeak there. I'm correcting myself. Let's see. I think this is where they say it. Let's see. essentially what they were saying is that they're not supposed to invest in it for investment purposes and speculative purposes. They're supposed to be able to use it for currency purposes. So I did misspeak there. You guys can feel free to go ahead and read this. This will be linked in the description down below. But anyway, guys, I've rambled on quite enough. I think I've given you guys some good information for today. If you were interested in coming and talking to me in person or talking to any of the beautiful, smart, talented people in the Crypto Jebb Discord server, you can do that. There's a link to that in the description down below. If you want to trade any of these cryptocurrencies that I am a big fan of, and hopefully you're a big fan of also, you can do so on Binance. I'm a big fan of Binance. There will be a link to sign up for that in the description down below. That is an affiliate link. It helps out the channel. Thank you very much if you sign up for that. And also, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.